We don't run from the truth. We don't fake the healing. We heal it. It's a revolution now, and you're invited. Heal that shit, don't hold it in. Rip the Band-Aid, let it begin. Truth gets loud when you stop the lie. We cry, we rise and testify. Heal that shit, don't hold it in. Heal that shit, don't hold it in. Rip the Band-Aid, let it begin. Truth gets loud when you stop the lie. We cry, we rise and testify. Life unfiltered, scars and all. Break that cycle, tear down the wall. Accountable, raw, and full of light. We healing out loud and we doing it right. Heal that shit, don't hold it in.
Hey, Glory, come on. Yeah. Heal that
Hey.
shit, don't hold it in.
Quick question.
Glory.
We're
To be
actually
petty today.
all right.
Hallelujah.
We are live out to the public. Is that with intention?
No, Jesus, thought I changed the privacy to unlisted. Hold on.
No worries. Let me give you a minute to get it popping.
Hold on. So sorry. So sorry.
Access revoked. So what's up, y'all? Hey, welcome to Life Unfiltered, Heal That Shit, where we are taking everything that we have learned over the past years and amplifying it for a new year of transformation. This is more than a podcast at this point. This is a revolution in healing. So whether you are a longtime listener or you are here for your very first episode, we are excited that you're here and want you to get ready for some life-changing conversations.
Yes, indeed, because we've learned something powerful over the past year. When we share our truth, we give others permission to do the same. We have created this space for the truth seekers, the change agents, and anyone ready to do the work, because let's be honest, real change happens when we stop hiding and start healing. Amen.
Amen. So whether you are here to work through your own journey or you are here to learn from ours, you are in the right place. We are about to get real, get deep, and most importantly, get results.
That's right. So you better buckle up, strap in, grab your favorite drink, and let's heal this shit together.
Exactly. So what's up, y'all? My name is Kimberland Jackson, and I am an educational advocate, activist, and consultant. I am also a scientist, a biologist in particular, with a particular interest in brain research and neuroscience. I'm also a visionary and motivational speaker. I am a virtual producer and network executive. I'm the founder of Intuitive Melanated Life Coaching, where I help people deepen their personal relationship with God to understand their unique design and purpose in order to positively impact the world. I'm also a professional frolicker. I am currently living in Medellin, Colombia, and I am one of the hosts that is here with you. What up?
Okay. Scientist, you better put some respect on your name, okay? Yes,
I've been trying to do a
indeed.
better job of popping my shit. You know what I mean?
That's right. Pop your shit, girl, because you deserve it. Well, my name is Bianca Goolsby, and I am a digital strategist, a consultant, an education activist, and a certified snitch.
Snitch.
Yes, indeed. I am an investigator and a receipt collector. So hopefully your name is not in my Google Drive and Google Files. I tell you, boy, I've been opening that recently. We'll have to talk more about that later. And I'm the founder of Teaching for the Culture, where we transform, we empower, we advocate, we coach, and we heal. I'm also an intuitive melanated life coach, a digital nomad currently working and traveling wherever there's Wi Fi. Currently, my feet are planted in Santa Marta, Colombia. And my purpose is to empower others to find their own path to freedom and fulfillment. Yes, indeed. Amen. Well, woo child. It's been a minute since we've been here and published an episode, so I want to make sure that we are very intentional with how we operate in this space and uplifting that. So we operate by the 3 keys: accountability, transparency, and integrity. And before we go further, we just want to make sure that we're very clear about the expectations and what you can expect from us and what we expect from you. Amen? Okay. So, what you can expect from us, we're going to operate in the 3 keys. We're going to keep it real. We're going to speak freely, meaning we're going to cuss if and when we feel like it. So, with that being stated, if you have little listeners, you might want to have some headphones, some AirPods, maybe not. That's your business. But please understand that we are freely speaking in this space, which means that we going to cuss. And my co hosts like to cuss a lot. So, I'm just letting you know. Okay? All right. And what we expect from you. All right. Hate speech, hate comments, not over here. We proudly serve on a block and be blessed ministry. Amen. So we want you to engage with intention or get escorted to the block pew. Okay. We've had to block some lurkers around here. I don't know why y'all doing what y'all doing, but come on and say hey. Say something in the comments, okay? Let us know that you are watching this journey with us because we want you to go on this journey with us. We are not the expert in all things, but the things that we are experts in, baby, I hope that you listening and taking notes because we have lived our lives, baby, okay? There's 2 different generations here. All right, but we have been living lives, okay? So we're going to facilitate these important conversations and we want you to participate and bring people with you because together we are committed to doing the work to heal. All right. I know you got some updates, girl. What's tea?
I'm like, not her over there trying to call me out talking about I be cussing. I do be cussing though, because sometimes you need to have a good cuss, and it
I'm like,
just
well, did I lie,
gives.
Jesus?
I didn't say you lied. But you did call me out.
Oh, hell no.
You're right. I do be cussing because sometimes we not cussing enough. Honestly, maybe that's what it is. You need to get you a good cuss so that you'll feel better about what's happening in life. I don't know, but anyways, so I want to make sure that you all know how to interact with us, how to show us love as we are here, how to let it be known that you are here from this universe. So we operate in emojis over here. And so we have our collective emoji, which is a heart with a bandage wrapped around it. And that lets us know that you are from the Heal That Shit universe. And we here with it on the things that we be talking about over here. Okay. And then we also have, and you can pair that emoji with lots of different things, such as our individual emojis. So my emojis are the sunflower and the crayon. The sunflower because yellow is my favorite color. It reminds me of the sun. It brings me joy. Sunflowers find the sun, and when they cannot find the sun, they turn towards each other. Sunflowers are also the symbol for invisible disabilities. And as someone who is neurodivergent and embracing that more and more and more and more every day, I'm becoming a really fierce advocate for those of us who live with things that are not necessarily present on the outside. We look normal or we seem normal, whatever the hell that means. But I won't get on that soapbox right now, but that's what sunflowers do for me. So when you send them, it feels like you are just shining sunshine from your heart, and it makes me very happy. My other emoji is the crayon. And the crayon came about because it was a time in my life where everything was very black and white and gray. And I made a conscious decision to color the fuck out of my life. And in that decision, I decided to intentionally infuse color and boldness and frolicking and the things that bring joy at a soul level. And so that is where the crayon has originated. So those are my emojis. Please do share yours. They really made me light up when I saw them in the chat just now.
Yes, indeed. All right. So my emojis. The teddy bear and the hands that form the heart. Let me tell y'all something. So before we started the show, we were talking about my teddy bear outfit because usually I have it on, but it's been hot. So that's why I don't have it on. But please understand that I am a teddy bear whether I wear my suit or not, baby. Okay. You see this cute cuddly face? Please. Also, don't play with bears either. Okay? The hands that form the heart. I tell you, I have so much love to give and to receive. And this month, I've celebrated 4 years of having open heart surgery. 4 years. So I am very grateful to God to be in this space, to be able to tell people to be intentional with their health and their body and their peace, because I am a walking miracle, a walking testimony of being saved and is still here and grateful to God for that. So the hands that form the heart, be intentional with your heart, and a teddy bear because I'm cute and cuddly, but also don't play with me. Okay? Yes, indeed.
Okay, noted. All right. So, again, that is how you can show us love with those individual emojis, our collective emoji. And again, that lets us know that you are from the Heal That Shit universe. Also, want to remind you that we are available in both video and audio formats. So, you can come and check us out down to the YouTubes and see what we look like, and try not to get distracted. Okay, but also you could come and check it out. All right. But also, if you want to take us with you in audio format, we are in all the places where podcasts are podcasted, under Life Unfiltered, Heal That Shit. So whether that's Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever else they got podcasts at, that's where we at. And also you can go to our website, wehealthatshit.com, and sign up for the mailing list, and there are different resources that we have available, book lists available. So, get into the things, get into the world. You can also go back in the archive, child, and see from whence we have come, because this is season 3. And we've been doing this for quite a while. So there's stories that are here, and there are canon events that have happened, and there are bonus questions that exist, because one day there is a quiz. And I need you to know that. I've been telling folks that. I just need y'all to understand it is a quiz one day. So make sure that you are paying attention and that you're collecting and retaining the information. Okay.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Okay. Great. So let's go ahead on and get into our spirit check-in. I was talking about this morning and just asked Kim, because I was like, I don't even know how to contextualize what my spirit is feeling in colors. I just don't even know. So but that's what we're about to do. Okay. So here on the screen, we have our spirit check system, and it is a color system, and we're going to model what that looks like as we share on our own. For those of you who are listening, I'm going to read it out loud so you'll know what the different colors are. So the first is green. I'm absolutely wonderful. Life is great. Blue, I'm good. I don't have any complaints. Purple, I'm okay. Things could be better. And yellow or gold, I'm not doing so well. I need support. So those are the colors that we are going to be referencing while we are here. And that can be done in a lot of different combinations. It is really up to you for how you want to contextualize that. So we are going to model that here. Also, if you're watching during the live premiere, you can feel free to share in the comments, in the chat, and or in the poll that we have available. This is a time to just honor what you're feeling, not to judge it or do anything with it, but just to create space for it. So it's on me to start where my spirit is. Okay, so I've been saying lately that I've been existing in containers because I've talked about like severance in the past, and how sometimes it's just like I just have to be in this space right now. And so that's been a lot of what life has been like lately, is me existing in the container. So what I'm going to do is, I guess, paint this heal that shit container bubble, if you will, and then also what's happening outside the bubble. So inside this bubble here, I feel like I'm very much like a bluish green turquoise waters. These waters have come up before. I mentioned seeing them when I went to St. Martin. Um, Very peaceful and calm, and palm trees and beach drinks, if you will, with umbrellas in them, fresh fruit platters, and looking at the feeling the breeze and looking at the scenery. Um Outside of this bubble, there has been a lot of yellow and purple. Um However, that is shifting into, so like yellow is I'm not doing so well, I need support. The support is showing up. Purple is I'm okay, things could be better. There is light and things are better now that the support has shown up. Yet it is still kind of like this ocean of yellow, purple, to and fro situation. Okay, I got another visual for you since we're going with seas. I'm talking us out as we're here. Imagine I'm in my vessel, in my bubble, in my little collection of blue waters that's also traveling through this rough and tumble sea. So I kind of have the
Mm.
ability here to kind of just be like, okay, I'm insulated here and here. But if I get out this bubble, it's a wild ass world that's happening out here, and there's all kind of shit going on. But in my little bubble, is very much turquoise waters. Okay, that's it.
I can see that. I see that. Um, okay. Can't wait to get to the transparency moment so you could talk about the different things you want to share in that. As it relates to my spirit, what comes up, and follow me as I go through this, because what I'm going to say is something that I was like, really? Is that what I want to say? My spirit is as green as the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. Follow me though. Follow me. So, it's under construction. The green that is appearing is because there's some construction work that needs to be done as well. So while I feel like I'm absolutely wonderful, life is great, when you get to the root of it, there's some things that is still under construction. So you got people that are guarding the pool to make sure that there's no one to touch or tamper with the pool. I'm very much protected in my little bubble. As so I resonate when you were talking about the bubbles, but most definitely feel like I'm a guarded entity, if you will. I am something that people are looking to, and something that's like a historical landmark, if you will, but it is very much under construction. And there has been a lot of visibility on me lately, and a lot of conversations that I've been having with people lately, which has exposed me to a lot more things that I wasn't necessarily prepared for. And while I'm grateful for all of that, I am very much still under construction, and I will need to get my stuff together before July the 4th. Ba-da-ba.
Oh, well, that's a tight turnaround. Okay. Very curious. All right. So, that is the spirit check, right? So we gave our examples. Sometimes we've done this with hearts and glitter and lava lamps and fireworks and paint splashes, and like, so it literally plaid checkered polka dots. Like, you can take it however makes the most sense to you. But
The
this is a
slinky
way
will
to
always
be
be my favorite.
the slinky. Yep. So, whatever makes it make sense to you, right, is what we invite you to share. So we do invite you again to share in the comments or share in the chat, how your spirit is feeling, so that we can also hold space and energy and honor that for you as well. And this is also something that you can use in your personal circles to be able to ask someone how their spirit is feeling through colors or through imagery or what have you. Okay. So, yeah. So to that, what's going on? Let's get into this transparency moment and talk about the things that's happening.
Okay, so it's been some time since the last time that we've recorded. And I must say that I'm thankful for the pause. I mean, I did get stuck in the elevator, and that was very interesting to have that experience, which is why we didn't record the last episode. And then we had a power outage, which we didn't have, electricity, and the day before that, I think we didn't have water for several hours. So it's been very, very interesting to go without the things that I felt like I could never go without and be perfectly fine, right? Be perfectly fine at the end of it. So it's been a lot of reflecting for me because life is continuing to life and people are continuing to people. And I am just trying to figure out the best way that I exist in being separated from certain communities where I'm being pulled to be and to participate in, but my spirit won't let me fully invest deep in. And I've had to have some real conversations with God of being like, what is my next step? I've been sharing some of those videos on different spaces on the internet. So for those of you that follow me on Facebook and Instagram and even TikTok, I have shared some of these transparency moments and some of the pieces of the accountability tour that I've been on. And now in this season in the accountability tour, I am focused on me. I went to the gym for the first time in I feel like months, and I felt so good being in the gym, moving my body, and it's just establishing and reestablishing these routines and being dedicated and disciplined and having the consistency to show up in the way that I need to, that I know I need to. But in the land of distractions, Kimberlyn, Jesus, the distractions of someone sending me an inbox and sending me down a rabbit hole that I wasn't necessarily prepared for, don't need to do, or the distractions of I see something on my phone and I was just watching something for 15, 30 seconds and then looking to see, oh, damn, I've been sitting here for about 4 or 5 hours looking at different things. And of course, like moderation, doing stuff on my computer, doing stuff on my phone, not just lock stuff on my phone, but we've talked extensively about screen time. And I know that as a social media safety expert, I've been trying to be very intentional with my own screen time, but I've had to hold myself accountable to that, but also give myself grace because I've been spending a lot of time being consumed on social media. But the Facebook check hit the other day, baby. The Facebook check hit, and I was like, this is why people do what they do on social media. This is why, because some people are incentivized with the behavior and the things that they do. And that's a whole nother tangent. But I will say, like, I am in a really good space, although, again, still under construction. So I gave the analogy to what's happening with the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool because it is something that's being talked about. And people could probably resonate with that if they're from the US or consume US news because it's been in the media a lot, and seeing a pool that has been established and fine for so long and then things happen and now you're under construction and now you got to figure out the source of what actually happened, and there's allegations that people vandalized stuff and there's allegations that people didn't do the work right. Regardless, there you have to get to the root and figure out what's actually happening. And so the message and all of that is my heart has been pulled in so many different directions where I want to continue to advocate for the seventh largest school district in the nation, but I'm still dealing with trauma as it relates to that. I still want to show up and be able to help parents navigate the school system, but I also don't necessarily need to get pulled in certain situations that is outside of my scope, capacity, and bandwidth. And so I constantly ask, and you constantly, I hear your voice sometimes, Kimberlyn, of being like, what does advocacy look like for you in this season? And I'd be like, shut up. I don't want to hear that right now. And that's just me being very vulnerable of I have had to push this along to the point where you have to now control it. And so with the reflecting pool, it's gotten so out of control that they're going to have to deal with it and not just point fingers as to what happened, but get to the root and fix it. And so that's where I'm at. I'm getting to the root and fixing it. And I feel like it is me prioritizing what is going to take space where, how am I going to show up and when, and being very unapologetic in that, and letting go the grief and the trauma and all of the things that I felt was holding me back from moving me forward. And I feel really, really good. And the conclusion of this accountability tour of saying the things, naming the things, and being like, I'm not going to get an apology from them. I just wanted to just let y'all know so that y'all can make sure X, Y, and Z and just let it go. Let God handle it. And that's where I'm at. I'm letting God handle it, and I'm doing the things that God has called me to do, but also having some real tough conversations with God on what that looks like, because the internal battles that I am facing, dealing with some of the things that I love and I want to be a part, but you can't be everything to everybody. And ultimately, I have to prioritize me. So that's where I've been, just prioritizing me and getting to the root of what that looks like now.
Yeah. I resonate with that really deeply, and I have questions, but I think they will probably be answered on the other side of talking about like morning tea and allegations, because like my question is really, so what does it look like, what does it look like now? You know, like with your spaces, and I know that that's a continuous process to figure out. And so while I also know I'm sure it gets on your nerves. It's like when my therapist was asking me for 2 years, like, and what do you want? And I'm like, girl, I don't know. I don't know. You know, until finally one day I was like, peace. That's what I want, is peace, you know? And so it does kind of take some time to get to what that looks like. And I think for me, I have, I still don't have a scope of understanding of how many things your eyes and spirit and ears are exposed to, right? I can only imagine based on what I know that I have seen and heard, and based on what you've shared that you've seen and heard, but I also know that you don't share everything that you see and hear. And so I am always with my imagination wanting you to be in a space where you are not being tossed to and fro by the drama of it all, because we are trying, to your point of getting to the root, our work has always been about what's at the root. Period. From heal that shit to the whole child to, you know, just the advocacy work that we were doing before we ever even crossed paths. It's like, what is at the root of this and how do we fix this? I'm not worried about all that. What's going on here? Because we have children that are being impacted at the end of the day, and they didn't sign up to be here. And so, how do we protect them? And the closer that we get to the situations, the further away that we get from the roots, unfortunately, because now we got to play politics and stupid ass Facebook games and, you know, back and forths and, you know, fake pages, and like now we got to do all of this shit instead of actually getting to the root of the things. So that's what most of my questions are about, of what that looks like and sounds like. So you can insert that here or insert that later, but those are the questions that I have.
So when we go through where teaching for the culture is and just kind of my thought process, I will be very transparent to share those things then, just so that we could stay in flow of the program. But it's a lot. I will say it's a lot that I've been thinking through. It's a lot that I've been praying on and about. But I will say, Kimberlyn, I was like this close of pulling the plug on all of it and being like, no, no. And
Yeah.
in my spirit, it was, you didn't go through all of this for nothing.
Mm. Mm.
I'm about to cry in just that. So I'm gonna mute and I'm gonna get myself together and then we could circle back. But
No problem.
all of this for naught. And
Yeah.
God is good.
Yeah. I pick up on that exact sentiment because Elbot has been here. And if you don't know who Elbot is, then you have to go over into the Kimberlyn Jackson universe and get some understanding of who Elbot is. But at a very basic level, simply stated, he's a friend of mine. And I had the opportunity the past couple days to, like, to your point of reflection and getting to the root and really like trying to understand what happens now. I've been at a space where it felt like, okay, all right, things are finally, I could breathe for a second. Okay. I can see where things are going. I got a grip on things. I'm all right. We got all this stuff in the pipeline. Like everything is good to go. And then there being a shift that was not necessarily on the radar or expected in regards to the political arena here in Colombia. And so I was able to have this conversation with Elbad and basically like name that and the realities of that and what that means for me and what that means for activism and what that means for um showing up for those who have been marginalized and harmed by these systems. Um, it's we be saying this a lot, and I wish that we had other words to be able to use besides this a lot because it really is so much that you just be like, I don't even know what words to use. It's like all of them, all of the isms that could exist, all the fuckery and foolishness that could exist, like all of that is all happening at the same time. And it's happening globally. It's not just happening in the US. While the US is very much an epicenter of a lot of things, it is bigger than that, and those effects ripple out and they cause impact in various spaces in various countries. And so knowing that it's sometimes difficult to be around people who do not understand how much it is. And so I was able to like really just say to him, I was like, this is a lot. This is a lot. And to also in that moment know that he's also going to catch me in that. And so when I said earlier, like there is this layer of like I'm in my bubble and then shit's being tossed to and fro and it's purple and yellow and it's like I need support. So then the support shows up and it's like, all right, so let me get in the bubble with you. Okay. So what we need to do, because we're gonna have to get out this bubble at some point. But when we get from out of here, what's our game plan? What we doing, where we going, what we need to figure out. Okay, cool. So we do this, a lot of we language. If we do this, and then so you need that. Okay, so we can do this, and then we can do that, and then we can do that. And does that feel good? Okay, what else you need? Okay, all right. Okay, so what if we do this then? And then we do this, and this. That feels better? Yeah? Okay. All right. So let's do that then. And then it's like, oh, okay. Like one moment is, I don't know, this is just a lot and I don't know what to do with all this and this is just a lot and this is overwhelming to it is a lot and it is overwhelming and also I got you and we can do this together. And so that has been very good for my spirit and for my soul and for my brain and all the things that I have to think about. In July, I was already planning, and this be the crazy thing of how God works. Because I've been getting messages that things are shifting for a while. But I have been being like, that's for everybody else. That's not for me. That's for the people that are around me because a lot of shifting has been happening. But then getting the confirmation, like, nah, that's for you, dog. That's for you. You too are also shifting. So being able to accept that, process that, embrace that, have the grief of that, and then the ability to be able to also trust. I keep thinking about the scripture when Abram was told to leave the place that you know and go to a new place that I will show you. That is often in my mind because that is how my life has existed. Much of my life has been go to the place and I'm going to show you when you get there. I don't know where I'm going. I just know not here, or I know it's time to shift, or I know it's time to do something different. And so I very much feel like I'm in that space where there is a a ginormous shift that is happening that is unavoidable. And so it is very much like, so then you're going to have to ride this wave. So get in this bubble and know that you're gonna be in your bubble and it's gonna be all right. And but you in your bubble and shit gonna be popping out there though for a little while. It's gonna be out there. But also get in this bubble. And in this bubble, there is safety here, there's peace here, and there's calm here, and there's tranquility here. And it's okay. We can be in the bubble for a little while, and that's what I feel like this next. And I know that July is about to look like that, but like this next season very much feels like get in the bubble and get to the roots and figure out now from this place, how do we now, what does it look like moving forward? What is shared where? What is said where? Who has access to what? Like what does that all of this look like? That's kind of where things are for me. So I really also resonate with the reflection and getting to the root of it. There's a lot of that going around.
Yeah. I am grateful to like just even have a moment of privilege to have stillness to even think about it. There are so many people that are caught up in just the rat race of it all that they
Mm-hmm.
can't even have a moment of stillness just to think and dream. So
Correct.
I often just am very grateful to God that in this season of me fixing and getting to the root and applying all the patches that I need and making sure that I'm not overextending myself or
Mm-hmm.
over promising or putting myself in situations where I don't want to be in anymore. That I am just very, very, very just grateful that I have that opportunity and pray and wish everyone will have an opportunity to have stillness.
Yeah, you are so correct when you say that it's a privilege. You're making me think about there's a creator that I follow. Her name is Leisha Miller. And she reports on the news. She's an attorney, and so she has this platform which I think she is called Why America or something like that. But anyway, she had been quiet for some weeks, and she just posted a video today saying that she moved to Ireland. And I went into the comments to see how people are responding to this because she had previously lived in Minnesota and she was doing a lot of the work there in Minnesota and reporting what was happening on the ground and all that kind of stuff. And she has cited the increasing danger that there are for people like her and people like myself and yourself who have been very vocal um, activists and voices regarding the regime and the things that are happening in various spaces, specifically us with education, but it's so many different spaces. And so when I was reading the comments, a lot of people were like, stay and fight. Huh? Stay and fight, huh? That's what I guess maybe she has said that in a video somewhere or something like stay and fight or whatever that looks like or something. And so a lot of people were making that comment. And it really made me like the perception of why we leave the US First of all, everybody's reason for leaving the U.S. is different. I think that's important to understand, and that all people do not leave for the same reasons. But also, speaking for the reason why I left the U.S. and what I heard Leisha say, and you may resonate with this as well, is it is much safer for us to do the work that we do outside of the U.S. than it is for us to be inside of the U.S. And the type of targeting that has happened from people that look like us and people that don't look like us. It has happened from people that sit in quote unquote high spaces and people that are everyday people that could be next to you in the library. And so in that, it creates a lot of safety concerns, and there are a lot of considerations that we have to put in place and a lot of costs that have to be considered for how we can continue to show up to fight in the fight of the things. And I've been very, very vocal about everybody has a different role in the fight. And so somebody's have to be outside to be able to look back and report what the hell else is happening. And that does not mean that somebody thinks that they're better than you. That does not mean that they are looking down on you. It means that they are choosing to make particular sacrifices to be able to support what is happening in the US. So for somebody like myself, I knew that if I stayed in the US, I was not going to be able to continue talking about what's happening in education, because the way that they were targeting my spaces and my YouTube pages, it was not, I don't need y'all to be able to get to me because I'm not about to shut up, like, type of thing. Um, and that is a sacrifice, because in that, that means that you leave your homeland. You may be speaking a different language. You may be in a situation where there are power surges and no water for days at a time, right? But also we receive the ability to be able to have the stillness, to be able to think and calculate and strategize, and then be able to come back and say, hey, I know that you have a lot going on, so I figured this part out for us. All you have to do now is follow these steps or do these particular things, because your brain is not in a space where you're going to be able to strategize, because you are in the system and therefore you're in survival mode and just continuing on in that space. And so I felt like I needed to bring that up, because I think a lot of times the perception is that we left because we think we better, or we left because we don't care. I had a few conversations this week with people in Hillsborough County, and over the past couple weeks, and they're like, well, thank you for still caring. Of course I still care. What do you mean? That is where I started my career. That is what all this work has been for. Those are the children that are in my mind as I'm doing everything that I'm doing. That's where it started. Why would I not continue to care? Because your perception is that I left because I don't care, not that I left so that I could continue to fight on your behalf from this particular lens. And so I wish that more people would take the time to try to understand why it is sometimes necessary, especially for people with platforms and people with high visibility, to be outside of the on the ground situation so that they can continue to be able to share what is happening. It doesn't mean that we are disconnected and divorced. It means that the role has just shifted.
Well, I resonate with that. I made a video talking about this very same topic. I shared that I was torn advocating for the seventh largest school district in the nation and not living there. And then seeing conversations that people were having on social media being like, well, if you ain't from Tampa, then how could you speak on behalf of Tampa? And then I'm like, you know how many complicit gatekeepers there are in Tampa that are preventing progress that nobody has said anything to? And they've been in positions 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and things still ain't moving. And yet someone new who has experience in other places seeing that this is not sustainable and this is not working, and a whistleblower. I don't understand why Black organizations target whistleblowers. That's still the question that I have, even though I know I'm not going to get an apology for what happened. But the question still remains, why do Black organizations target Black whistleblowers that are talking about issues that are impacting Black and brown children? Hell, all children, with a focus on Black and brown children because they're historically left behind. So
Complicity.
I I
That's the
I've been
only
torn.
answer, because y'all complicit. That's why. Like, period and point blank. That's it. Otherwise, there is no reason to, you know?
Which I think this is like a perfect segue of like talking about our origin story as it
Mm-hmm.
relates to us being two independent change agents that in time came together for a common good and still connects to continue the work regardless of where that's at. We have had
Yeah.
internship programs impacting students globally. I was going through the Google Drive of Teaching for the Culture again, was getting ready to like cut all of it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing some of the file folders and some of the students that we've impacted with Career Source or
Mm-hmm.
with the university, SAU, or just the
Mm-hmm.
different spaces that we've been able to impact children wherever we were at that time. So I feel like you should go ahead and kick it off because where we left off, we talked about mornington and allegations and like the start of that. But before mornington and allegations, I feel like there were some things that you were doing before I even started that show.
So, minding my Black as business. Wait, Mornington allegations started in 2020. So that's about the time that I was getting to Pennsylvania and getting to everything that was happening in school improvement. Um, and so for context, just to catch everybody up, so Bianca and I met in 2019. Um, because of a situation that happened with the school board member in the seventh largest school district in the nation, Hillsborough County Public Schools, and started our activism work really there in Hillsborough County. Well, during that time, we were targeted by different Black organizations who were upset that we were blowing the whistle on all the things that were happening. And so there was a lot of messages being passed. It was a lot of things that was happening, y'all. It was a lot down there on that Facebook. It was spells being casted and all kind of shit. It was crazy. That was a crazy ass fucking time. It was so fucking crazy.
Do you know
That
that
was,
she calls herself a doctor?
I've
She
heard.
one of them Cheyenne Bryant, just
Yeah,
out
yeah.
here. All
Well,
right.
there are many of them. There are many of them. I've spoken to it, even some of them pastors that's at them big churches where yeah, it's a lot. But yeah. So anyway, so that time was a lot, right? And so as that was happening, I was then making my decision to leave Tampa. I did feel like I needed to leave for my safety. I did not I was in a position where I didn't feel like I was supposed to go back to the school district, and I was supposed to move to something else. And so I transitioned to Pennsylvania, and then I started working as a school improvement specialist, specifically a school climate and culture specialist, in the school improvement system of the state of or the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which is responsible for over 500 school districts. But within our network, I want to say we had maybe 90 something schools. And so through that process, I'm doing the good work that y'all hired me to do, right? Y'all created this position for me to be a climate and culture specialist. I'm here to do my thing. Let me get on in here. Let me see what's going on. Well, when your girl get in there and see what's going on, I see what's going on. And so now we have a problem. Within 2 weeks that I'm there, I know this is y'all don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea what concepts such as equity or academics even look like they very much don't know what they're talking about. And mind you, I'm sitting in rooms with people who are superintendents, people who are coaches and like all of this and do not know what they're talking about. And so I gently try to educate and create spaces and all that. Long story short, they wasn't feeling none of that shit. You know why? Because the problems was there because they wanted them to be there. And so what I discovered is that we would be sitting in meetings solving the problems. And then they would have meetings after those meetings to make sure the problems never got solved. So any answer that we came up with, they immediately then went into a room to make sure that that never happened. So whether it was funding or whether it was some got lost or whatever. And so it was a very interesting time, and I very quickly became the target of a lot in that system, which ultimately led to me seeking 3 mental health specialists and being placed on medication, being diagnosed with depression, anxiety, PTSD, um, and all sorts of other things. So during that time, this is 2021, 2020, 2021. In April of 2021, Elbot, who I referenced earlier, messaged me and was like, I feel like you need to get away for a little while. I feel like you probably need to go somewhere. And so mind you, it's Pennsylvania. I don't like the snow. I don't like cold. I work from home. I've been in my house this entire time. It's also COVID. I don't like cooties. Like the highlight of my life was going to the Amish market up the road on Saturdays to go and get me a crab pretzel roll. Okay. That's and walking on the river. But I'm not really living the life in the streets, so I agreed to that, and I wound up coming here to Medellin in April of 2021. I met 3 Black women on that trip. They were actually living here, and we were on a graffiti tour, and I was like, y'all live here? And they were like, yeah. And I said, how? They said, girl, you got a passport. Pack your shit and get out of there. Why are you there? And I couldn't answer that question. I couldn't answer why I was still in the US, why I needed to remain in the US to do what was happening. I didn't have a good answer for that. And so I made the decision to leave on that trip. And so that was April of 2021. October 9th of 2021, I left the US and started my new life in Playa del Carmen. And that is when Minding My Black Ass Business was born. So it started out kind of as like t-shirts and just basically it was like, I'm just about to go mind my black ass business. Cause what had happened was they kept fucking with me. And one day I'm standing in my apartment and I was just like, I'm just trying to mind my black ass business. Like that's literally all I'm trying to do. I would show up in meetings. They're like, oh, Kimberly, you got new glasses? Oh, look at your hair. Look at your this. Like I just am minding my black ass business. And so that's how it came about. And I started by the time, so I was in Playa del Carmen, and then I didn't stay there long. I don't like the beach. I don't like sand. And so, but it was a good place to start the journey because I met quite a few people there who were able to help me land and kind of get my feet situated. But I also knew that wasn't really my place. And so I left Playa del Carmen and I moved to Mexico City. I took a bus actually across the country of Mexico. I don't know why, just because I thought that that was easiest. And that's probably what a Mexican would do is they would get on the bus and move their whole life. So that's what I did. Um, and so I moved to Mexico City. And then, so while I was in Mexico City is when I started sharing publicly what had happened while I was in Pennsylvania. So on the Mind of My Black Ass Business channel, there is a playlist called School Improvement in Pennsylvania, where I shared the behind the scenes of what was happening while I was in the school improvement system in Pennsylvania, how they were targeting me, how they went through all kind of hoops and things. The HR report, I shared that meeting, the subsequent meetings that happened after that, my evaluation, I shared all that shit down there on the YouTubes. And them people was pissed. Now, granted, I had permission to record everything I recorded. I asked for permission to record the things I pissed. So they started sending letters to YouTube, trying to get my YouTube page taken. They did get a couple of my videos taken down, a couple of the first videos. And also, though, I said what I said. So, I want to say maybe I did 7 episodes of that, and then the block got really, really hot in like December of 2022, and I also had left Mexico City to move here to Colombia, and I put all of that on pause. But that was the birthing of minding my black ass business.
Yes, indeed. I remember the co-working sessions that we had for it and like making sure that you got your printful shop together and all the things and that was a time. And I do also
Mm-hmm.
remember them trying to pull your YouTube channel down because of the videos that you were posting, and it's wild the efforts that they took to try to remove the things, but not to provide you the care when you were bringing up very valid concerns about just treatment and the overall impact that was happening for children. And it's also wild to see narratives that people create as it
Mm-hmm.
relates to that, because I do remember a time where people were like, "Well, why is she talking about this? And
Mm-hmm.
why is this being highlighted?" And it's like, do you understand how impactful this role is and
Right.
how many children and institutions within it that this impacts? So this is not just something that's happening at a school. This is an entire network for a state.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
The entire state. You know, there are millions and millions of kids that we're talking about being impacted here. And so that's why this matters, because this is the organization or the system that's supposed to be coming in to quote unquote improve schools. And you all are committed to not improving the schools. As a matter of fact, you are ensuring that the schools don't get improved and also collecting very, very healthy checks to do this. Saying that you're doing it. Oh, I don't know why it hasn't worked yet. Because y'all didn't want it to fucking work. It was never supposed to work. You just running a game. That's it. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of scrutiny. And I'm glad that I shared. I'm glad that I shared because and that was literally it wasn't the tip of the iceberg, but that ain't even the base of the things. Like I didn't even share everything. So can you imagine if they was trying to take my shit for what I did share, what I didn't share? It was a wild time. It was a wild time. But that is how minding my black ass business wound up getting born, is through that experience. And yeah, Bianca and I spent a lot of time talking through it. And because again, it was literally just an idea that happened as I'm standing in my loft in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. You know, I'm like, I think this is a thing. And I remember like sitting there with you at different times and being like, bitch, this gonna be a documentary. This is some crazy ass shit that is happening over here. I've got to document this. And so I haven't even shared the videos of like me documenting. I'm talking snotty nose crying, like full on. I cannot believe the types of things that I'm discovering and the types of things that are happening to me. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. So that is what was happening in my life up until that point. That takes us up until about 2023 in my timeline. So where are you in all of this and teaching for the culture and it developing?
So, y'all, when I say the experience, the last episode that we published, I shared my experience with meeting the superintendent, with Kimberlyn, and that's how we met in person for the first time. And because of that experience, that led me to start Morning Tea and Allegations. I actually want to share with y'all, for those of you that are joining us live currently, I thank you for that. I'm going to share my screen so that you could see the article that was written about my podcast and the shows that I was doing. So the title for those that are listening is Online News Show and Podcast Hold Local County School Officials Accountable. Okay. And so it talks about me being a digital strategist, a web designer, and the creator of Teaching for the Culture. It also links my now ex wife in the article and my op ed that I've shared and highlighted as it relates to my experience in the classroom. You'll see a photo of the podcast with me and Kimberlyn when we had the whole Chow series. And there's so many different shows and things that I was doing to highlight that the seventh largest school district in the nation had the highest number of students arrested in the state of Florida, that they led their school to prison pipeline, that they had the most underperforming schools in the state. And mind you, these stats are not much different today. In fact, the stats are quite alarming. And I've been doing deep dive with the data. I requested information with the district not too long ago, and I received the data of the number of educators by race and gender because I wanted to know, does the population of the educators reflect that population? And I'm here to tell you that the answer to that is no. And so when you see situations like the Karen Savage situation and some of the other incidents that I've been brought on to talk about or to investigate, we see the disparities. And that's why Morning Tea and Allegations was created, to highlight and to discuss and talk about that superintendent search, because I didn't know the politics that existed in Tampa and who was what I'm now naming complicit gatekeepers in that. I had no idea some of the people that were in position, that was holding power, that were aware of the situation and chose to continue as is, to continue the status quo, to continue to be complicit. And meanwhile, our children deserve better. So that's when Teaching for the Culture was created. We've collected money, we donated notebooks and school supplies to different schools in the district. I was on all the different platforms, even Twitch. If you go to twitch.com and search Teaching for the Culture, you will see some of the older videos that were produced and created with Teaching for the Culture. And in 2020, my life shifted, and so much so because there was a fake page that was targeting me and other people that was associated with me. Kimberlyn was also one of those targets because she was closely associated with me. And I'm telling you, anyone that was closely associated to me, or anybody that was advocating for children that was against the school board member in particular, was a target. Okay. And that's wild. And the person who did it is still doing it today, y'all. I'm talking about something that happened in 2020, and I just sent a letter to the Hillsborough NAACP regarding the incident in 2026. That's how long this has been going on, y'all. So when I say like healing from trauma, this is my real life. My personnel file was exposed on the internet, y'all. It should have never happened, and it did. And so I've been asking for accountability. And like I said, I'm sure I'm not going to get an apology, but I did call Yvette Lewis. I did talk to her. She didn't want to say too much to me after I identified who I was. But again, all of that is documented, it's posted. Y'all can go see it's on my page. But the receipts are there, y'all. People are receipts don't. So I'll just leave that there. So in 2020, the fake page, it was called Sam Horn at the time. Now it's called Ben Banneker, but we were accused of stealing. It was pictures of a side by side of Teaching for the Culture and Teach for the Culture. And at that point, I knew that there's something that had to be done about this situation. And so that's when we filed a trademark and went through the process of making sure that we were protecting our intellectual property. And boy, oh boy, that has been a journey. I'm not going to go too deep into the trademark dispute because there are several episodes within Heal That Shit that we've talked about it. But then there's also articles and things that you could research and see. If you type in on Google, okay, type in teaching for the culture trademark dispute, okay, you're going to see things that pop up as it relates to that. And I'm so grateful that AI is picking up on the things that have been posted to give overviews that I don't think it would if it did not have that integration. Okay. So, with that being said, people have different feelings about AI, but the fact that if you type in teaching for the culture trademark dispute, it makes it very, very clear that we own the trademark, that she tried to cancel our trademark and she lost. Also, not only did she lose, but she owed her attorney money. Okay. So it's just wild to me how all of that happened. But people lie, receipts don't. So go get your receipts. And finally, we got justice in that matter. I am summing all of this up real pretty and nice, but I am also letting you know the harm and the destruction that that was to me personally, being the brainchild of something and working so hard to create something brick by brick, and then someone going in and lying and committing perjury to a federal trademark office and then attempting to cancel our trademark, which was a very expensive multi-year process, to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wrap this up in a bow. I don't even live in this district anymore. I'm just going to just say that it was a thing. And then God continued to speak to me that all of this was not for nothing. The shows that I have been able to produce, not just for myself, but for people, have been recognized and have been talked about. I have a national recognized podcast. I know that my voice is powerful and I know that God is going to move in a mighty way, but I still have some things that I still need to patch up in that. So there are people that are asking, after the viral situation with Karen Savage and being one of the people reporting on the issue, well, what's next? What is next for teaching for the culture? I'm here to be very vulnerable to tell you that I am still figuring it out, that I don't have all the answers as to what this is going to look like. But I do know that there is still some healing that I have to do, because when I think about teaching for the culture, I also think about the things that I personally had to go through and people that were closely associated with me had to go through just because of how close they were to me, to the point where I have been very, very cautious on bringing people near me because I don't want them to be harmed in the way that they were harmed before, or something to happen. Like when I say I am very cautious, knowing the things that I know, having access to the things that I have access to, people are getting hurt by blowing the whistle and speaking truth. And that is the sad reality of it. And it makes it even sadder when I see Black organizations that go after Black people that are advocating for Black and brown children, and then will be parading on stages and in front of people saying Black power. But meanwhile, if there's someone that is questioning your power and authority, you will do everything to try to shut them up. Kimberlyn, I didn't tell you that I had an attorney reach out to me because somebody called the attorney to talk about what I was talking about, making more threats about how they was going to do something to me because I was talking about my story. Recently. So I'm saying all of this, y'all, when I say sometimes it's just safer to just go away and to be in your own space and to have your own peace, because you're going to have people that target you. And when I tell you, when I was in Tallahassee, when I was in Tampa, when I was driving that purple vehicle with the license plate Petty B, I was a target. People
Yeah.
know when I pull up. People know exactly how I ride. People know me. And the fact that even while I am not in the US and people know that, you gonna send people to my house? My parents' house? You gonna call people about me so that they could send me the message? So, like I said, teaching for the culture is something that I had to really think through and is still thinking through because of the harm, not just financially, but emotionally. I was hospitalized dealing with this trademark dispute because my heart rate elevated. This is something so personal for me. And unless you're in it, you're not going to know. That's why I'm telling you. When you build something and someone steals from you, and then try to use the federal court system and lie and make the process more expensive than what it needs to be, and then even pay their own attorney, that's why it's no filter for Shauna Brown, a Black woman.
A Black woman, a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And so, sorors, if any of y'all know her down there to the Teach for the Culture, I need you to holler at me because a Black woman talking about she doing something for the culture and actively stealing.
It's wild. And I could see Kimberlyn if she started first and she had receipts and okay, you have proof and all of that, but we went through this whole process and you don't have no receipts and you still don't have receipts, and now you done got the page private because the people was coming asking questions, and now you done got your situation private so nobody come check you publicly. But for the people that's in there, and some of the people that's in there is more bots than humans, according to what the reports say when we pull in engagement data. So I y'all, I can't make it up, but I am encouraging you, for those that are watching and listening, to subscribe to our mailing list. You could find our website at www.teachingfortheculture.com. By the way, I'm currently working on a case with GoDaddy so that I could get the domain teachfortheculture.com. The Wix website has been pulled down, so there's no active website that she has currently. And I am working with GoDaddy again to do a takedown due to the trademark infringement. Removing the ing from a business name is not sufficient, and that is something that the examiner said, and also what her attorney said before she went through this mess. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. I don't know how many programs and things that are going to be posted on our YouTube channel, so just subscribe so the next time something happens, you'll be the first to know. And we got almost every single digital space out there, from Facebook to Instagram. We have a TikTok, a Twitch, a Spotify, a SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. There's a lot of platforms. And if you go to the Teaching for the Culture website, you can see a lot of the links to that and find it. And I am asking y'all that y'all continue to keep me uplifted in prayer as I am navigating this, because it has been hard when I have educators sliding in my inbox telling me, "Thank you so much for your voice. We really miss you at the school board meetings, but I understand, and thank you for being here for us." So start over as many times as you need to, but don't give up. That's the message. And so I'm not giving up. I'm repping the swag, and I want to make it available for people to purchase on the website and all of that. But there are some things on the ground. Back to my transparency moment of this reflection pool and fixing the things and getting to the root. I am still actively in therapy as it relates to the things that have happened, advocating for children. And seeing the impact, though, my gosh. Hearing the impact, my gosh. But being called every name but a child of God, having my personal information and legal correspondence shared on a fake Facebook page that is still being operated by the same bad actor, Cato Nord Hodges, today. There are people that are actively still reading that article, Kimberlyn, that I wrote, encouraging him to sue me. Why? Because people were like, "Well, you keep naming him. What are you gonna do about it?" Well, beloved, I just said that I don't got it. I went through a multi-year federal trademark dispute fighting for teaching for the culture. Do you think I got time to pay legal fees to drag him to court when he could just stop? Why is it when people who are speaking out about the abuse and harm and the things that they have gone through, why is it people be like, well, what you gonna do about it? Instead of going to the person causing harm to be like, stop that shit.
Correct. Because he could just stop. You could literally just stop. Just stop.
So during my accountability tour, I've been very vulnerable as it relates to the things that have happened to me that I haven't shared in the way that I've shared it previously. But it's because I was on this mission to clear my name, and that was personal for me. And now I feel like I don't need to explain myself anymore. I don't need to repeat the things that I've already said. Govern yourself accordingly with what I've already said, but also don't play with my name. Don't try it, because playing with my name is expensive. This oil is expensive. And again, I am a walking miracle. And with that, I have to protect my peace in it too. So that's how we met. That is how we're in this work. And it sounds like, Kim, that we are on this journey where we're getting to the root and figuring out what is next in
Mm-hmm.
all of it. And I look forward to this break that we're going to take in July and come back in August, which is going to be school time. There's things that in my mind I have planned for teaching for the culture, but we'll see what happens. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see what comes out of this in August and us looking back at where we were at the end of June, taking
Yeah.
some time away, and what will be the results in August. Because when I tell you, I am so focused. I am just, again, reestablishing the routines that I need for me and
Mm-hmm.
prioritizing me and getting back to self. And on this accountability tour, I've been talking about a lot of people, but now I'm talking about me and the things that I need to do and the ways that I want to show up better and how I can be better suited and fitted to help with the problems that we see, knowing that's the sad part of this too, Kimberlyn. No matter how much we advocate and fight, there's a profit in the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't want to fix that. And how do we move forward knowing that there is complicity that has to be completely dismantled in order to move forward? I just posted before we got on here, and then I'm gonna be quiet because I know you probably got some more questions and things. But I've been looking at the different governor races. And
Mm-hmm.
I go through down the ballot, different races, and people ask me my opinion on who they should vote for and all the things. And I like to get the research and the receipts and be like, well, here's the folder of the things I found. You go and you make your decision. You're gonna have to be in that ballot box making that decision. But I'll empower you with all the information that I find. So I'm researching this governor's race, and I'm like, wow, the racism and the things that are happening
Mm-hmm.
because the Republicans don't want this black man to win. And then, hold on. The Republicans have had control of the state of Florida for 27 years, meaning that they have controlled the governor's seat, they have had control of the House and the Senate. This does not include the CFO. This does not include the Attorney General. This does include other key positions of the state. 27 years. They've had the governor's seat. They've had control of the House and the Senate. And they're campaigning talking about Democrats. And my question is, who do we hold accountable for the things that are happening in the state of Florida when the Republicans have had 27 years of control? I'm going to go on mute and drink my tea.
I don't have any questions. I think I just want to underscore and re-empower people to take a moment, as much as you possibly can, to be able to get still to hear what needs to happen in this next season of life. It is absolutely a lot of shifting, and even it's Mercury retrograde that we're moving into at the end of the month. And from what I was told this morning during Just Ask Kim, is that this Mercury retrograde is really calling for us to think deep and with intention, and really create space for things closing and shifting, as well as new things being birthed. And so I'm just looking forward to what that's going to look like in all aspects of life. So in regards to activism, in regards to friendships, in regards to places and spaces and programs and podcast, and like just the things, just really taking a deep look at everything. We talk about energy audits often, we talk about village audits, really sitting down to think about what is working and what is not working, so that for this next season, we are only bringing forth the things that are going to help us to achieve um the next part of whatever this journey is that we're on. And so I look forward to the reflections when we get back. And um, while a month does not necessarily feel like a long time, a lot can happen in a month, and a lot will happen in a month. And so I look forward to being back to report what that looks like. I look forward to reading the comments about what's happening in you all's life over the next month, and what your spirits are saying to you about different shifts that need to happen, and what it looks like for you all to get to the root of what is important to you, what advocacy and activism looks like for you in this season, how you are honoring yourself in your systems and routines, and the people who have access to your energy, who's getting kicked out of circles, who's getting invited in closer. So yeah, I look forward to all of that. So we want to make sure that you all leave us comments and come back, and share from the spirit check to, yeah, I saw that too. Or, girl, I went and read that article. Girl, that's crazy. All of those things. Like, come back and talk to us, because we are definitely carrying you with us as we are taking this season to be able to go inside the bubble and figure out what calm and peace and tranquility looks like in our personal spaces, so that we are able to radiate that outward. So, where can the people find you during this break if they are looking for you?
If you're looking for me, the best place to see the different spaces is on my website at www.biancagoolsby.com. On my website, you'll be able to see updates via my blog. You'll be able to subscribe to my mailing list. You'll be able to see the different links to my social media. So that's where you can find me. Where can the people find you?
And y'all can find me over in the archive if you go to patreon.com/minding my black ass business. That is where the conversations will be happening, new spaces that are being built out, Q&A opportunities. I'm still going to continue to have Just Ask Kim over this time, and some of our Patreon exclusive spaces will continue to be in operation. It's just these public facing spaces that are going on hiatus. So patreon.com/minding my black ass business is where I'll be.
Yes, indeed. So we will see you on the second Saturday in August. Okay, we have changed our schedule where we will be on the second and the fourth. So make sure that you mark your calendars for that. That is Heal Your Shit on the second and fourth Saturdays of the month. And for those of you that want to catch the live recordings, we'll be here on Wednesday. In order to get access to that, you'll have to be in the Patreon. So we just appreciate your love and support. And thank you for rocking with us for these 3 seasons that we've been on. And I just really look forward to what's next for us individually and collectively as we're out on this journey trying to heal and do the things that God has called us to do.
Amen. We'll see y'all soon.
Until next time, bye.
Bye, y'all.
Heal that